Okay, Greg, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Charles.
I'm just so happy to discover, to hear that you're back on days, that
Yeah.
this is it. So what was it like for you? That I believe the convention was sort of that moment in which you shared that you were coming back. So what was that like for you?
Um, Exciting, scary. It's always you don't know the path that is coming. It just like in life in general, you don't know what's happening tomorrow. Every minute you got to make the best of. And I just saw an opportunity to get back to what I had missed and what I loved, the work ethic. And I had so much time off. It was time to step back in, grab the reins and move forward, and I had been welcomed no matter when I left and forever how much time I left for. It was just there were making personal life changes, for the better, and I was very grateful to explore the things that I did, and having that time off allowed me to wisen up in a lot of areas. And then for myself, I never really had that much time, and so I definitely had reached the peak, and I was like, you know what, I need to get back to doing what I'm good at, and just starting to reflect on over the years and my time on the show and what I felt would be fun and interesting to tap into, and I expressed that, with the powers that be, and just I felt that it was kind of left in a way that just was unfinished business. And they were welcoming at any moment, and it was just like, when the timing's right, I'll let you know. And it got to that place. I'm like, I got that phone call again. I was like, yeah, I'm ready now. Yeah.
I want to know a little bit more from your perspective about, soaps in terms of, especially days, from the core audience. I
Yeah.
from what I hear, from what I gather, soap audiences are extremely invested.
Very
They're
much so.
incredibly loyal, and they're really interactive too. So, what's that experience been like for you? And if you had a favorite, fan encounter,
Oh,
fan
wow.
moment?
Great question. Just great question. Through all my years of 20 years now, last month of being in this medium, and that was a very big impact because the amount of interactive fan and myself engaging from every network that I've been on, and three out of the last four flagships, you know, I've had the greatest, most monumental moments happen in daytime. Not that other fan base, but just the engagement that I've been a part of in association with what I've done, from book tours to appearances at Disney World or whatever have you. I mean, it's been very, very rewarding. I haven't jumped on any of those little convention road shows as other fellow friends and other shows that I've been on have done over the recent years, which are definitely interesting to me. But I've had some really memorable moments, over the years. I think the demographic is obviously changed. The reason I came into daytime, and I think that's pretty much the best way to start, is like my grandmother was a big soap fan, an avid watcher. And the moment I got on her favorite show, which she's much older, and so when I was a kid, that was always her baseline, from the radio to when to talk show, when it started broadcasting. So big impact there, and just knowing that I could be a part of something that was her niche. And when I started at Young and the Restless, which was her biggest reward, because she got to see me every day as much as she could, and then being so many states apart, it was so rewarding for her to be on her favorite show, and the only person she cared about was Shemar Moore. So, and then it's just
as one does, yeah.
Yeah, right. And then to get from Young and the Restless, which I think the Bell family, started as a writer actually at Days under the Corday family before moving over to the CBS network. And so going from there to General Hospital to Days, I've just been fortunate enough, but I've met so many wonderful people, both domestically and internationally across the states, and just so rewarding, and still get stopped today, just like, when are you coming back? When are you and Nicole? You could always go back over here because your character is available, So it's nice to make an impact with so many people that are my kind of people, that are across the world, that make this world move around. And, I think the history, the foundation I learned from the veterans that I've been fortunate to be surrounded by, the gratitude that they have to the work ethic they've shown me, and their commitment to making great work, and they're proud of it, and I'm proud of to be a part of it, and it's a blessing. So when we talked about returning, it's like open arms. I love to work. It's my vice, and I think it's everybody. And coming out of the most devastating time of being isolated is hard for many people, and taking away what they long to do is not been easy. So I feel fortunate, and I'm doing what I love. So
yeah. So help me out with this one. I want to get this anecdote absolutely correct. I don't want to get anything wrong here, but your sister Alison you and Alison had played love interests previously, and now she's your sister on the and she'd also just come back as well too, right? So that she had left and rejoined last year. So what's that like for you when someone you've acted opposite in one way, now you're acting opposite in a different way?
Well, you mentioned Alison Sweeney, and Alison Sweeney is the hardest working woman, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as an author, as a director. She wears many hats. I've been fortunate to know Ali since early, late 90s. So we've been friends along the way before working together. And I had already done a few movies, miniseries at the Hallmark Channel. So my name was always in the pot, if you will. And this was Ali's first movie role for Second Chances. I think it's actually renamed. I've come to find that out. But it started off as called Second Chances and has been renamed something else for other markets or conflict of interest. But anyway, she and I had tested with Ari Zucker for the role of Eric Brady after saying no to other opportunities for years. Since 2009 is kind of when I started first receiving phone calls of if I was interested in coming off of General Hospital. So I was just like, not at this time. Hallmark came into my world, and I started really doing some stuff, which was great. I wanted to get more in that movie cinematic stuff, and see where I could go with that. And it was changing of scenery and gears and stuff, if you will. So I tested, and in the same week, I was offered the role on the movie opposite of Alison, Ali Sweeney, as our Sami Brady, as those many know her. And so when that happened, it just coincided with each other, and it was very coincidentally, and we laughed about it, but I hadn't started officially working. And so when the Hallmark movie was offered to me, and I had just got news that I was being offered the role of Eric Brady. So the history and the Wikipedias of the world, and how people have read it or thought it to have been, is somewhat correct and incorrect at the same time. So I will hopefully clarify that just things worked out the way they did, and we were professional actors, and we have been friends for numerous years, like Ari and I are as well. And so it's just the way it was, and it was great, and it's great to be with her. And when she is present and being in her leadership or presence, we connect as she does with all fellow actors on the set. So she's awesome, and she is incredible and hardworking. And and she's wife, mom. I mean, what doesn't she do? And then Ari's the same way. She's a hardworking woman, making her path, and I love that women have been empowered in so many ways to do that and take the reins.
Yeah. What is really cool to see about the show is how inclusive it is. You've had actors who've been on the show for many, many, many years, veterans that you were talking about, and then also, newer cast members seeing different perspectives, different backgrounds. So, what's that like for you when you're returning to the show? How have you enjoyed sort of the different groups sort of melding together on the show?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think, everything's changed because of the pandemic, obviously. Um, Going back has been harder, and I saw a little bit of it in the early stages before I made a return. And just in those brief moments, everybody's morale was different. Just the interacting was prohibited. And I always look forward to going back home more so than being there, because of that environment. I was happy that they were back. I was happy there to read the news. They were, going back on, contract for another couple of years. But it was now, since returning, I just I don't really get to see a lot of people still this day, except on the set. It's still very protected, very guarded, because of regulations, for us to be in the environment to which we engage. But so many people that I got to see that I haven't seen. It's like it's like your best friend you haven't seen since you left home 20 years ago. You get back together, and it's like you've never been apart. So welcomed always with loving arms, and was awesome. We fortunately lost many people because of the situation. Just people losing jobs, and you hate to hear that. It's such wonderful people. So there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. So getting back and to see Deidre Hall, Josh Taylor, Lauren Koslow, Ari, Ali, Eric Martzoff, Galen, we're all one big family, no matter where, and we all connect and we stay connected across the board. So it's nice to us now to be able to start reconnecting the way we once did, with no mask and, into a safer environment and moving forward. So that's what we just keep looking for, the day when there's no more masks, no more anything on set, and everybody can just show up to work, and no more nasal swabs, because that's the worst invasive thing I go through every day.
So before COVID changed things so dramatically, sort of maybe in your previous iteration, did you have a favorite moment that you shot, a favorite scene, a favorite, sequence? What were some of the things that made it so memorable?
I think there's so many, and plus I have a very short-term memory, so please forgive me. I was in a different state of mind. I think, especially personally, I was, and professionally, I was fighting myself in a lot of areas, because I had achieved a benchmark in my life, my bucket list. I won an Emmy, and I think it's always trying to go beyond that. I'm never satisfied. It's one of those, like, I just kind of anticipate, not ego driven, or just like, look, I feel that when you give me some sense of depth and story, then I'm going to have more meat on the bone, if you will. And I liked that challenge. I like coming to work happy. I like excitement. I'm like, that's been my dream of why I became an actor. And so to come to work and to have those moments that are coming off the page that just get me excited, I long for them. And so I don't have one monumentous moment. I think there's been small bits and pieces, and I think I loved when I left the canvas. Everything's always, when I'm leaving, they always give you your best moments. It's like, we're losing you. All right, let's finish it up and make it dramatic, and we're gonna either kill you or we're gonna. And I feel so fortunate, bad for the others, but I see so many great characters that are being killed, or taken off canvas. Mine, they just sent me to prison, and they said, look, we're gonna just send you away, deal with it. We're going to let you have your space and then we can bring it back. But when you're seeing people that have such importance on the canvas and then them getting just eliminated or recast so quickly, and it's, you know, some I understand, yes. Yeah, it's just I hate to see. I value what people and why they do what they do, or taking a break, or going into motherhood, or whatever have you, whatever is pulling you in the direction in which you're going. But I just hate to see certain characters just like, okay, well, we're just gonna start fresh, clean slate, goodbye.
Mm.
And I know it's business, so that's how we have to treat it. And you know, and so there's such a non kind of a sanctimonious feeling when you come to work. It's like, this is a job, we do our work and do it every day with 100% and more. That's the way I do it. And that's why I even, you know, I advise other younger actors that are always looking for mentorship. You know, I just like, hey, you have a very blessed opportunity right here. You bleed on this show if you have to, just every step you can, and make the moment of it, and every second you have here, because you are dispensable and replaceable, and you know, you got to earn your keep, you know. So I wish I had a lot more past history. I mean, a happy moment was Eric and Nicole getting married. Wasn't the venue of choice, but it was at the family pub, which was fun, and I had a great cat fight out of it. So watching Allie and Ari have a cake fight battle was fun. Those are great. But yeah, I think there's just, and I express those things, and hopefully, you know, the writers and the powers that be will entertain much more moments like that, monumentous moments.
So let me ask you instead, I want to set it up because you're returning. What can we expect from that? You know, that's soon.
God, I wish I knew the answer to that. I wish I could give you more. It's going to be a journey. I wish that I hope and pray it's received and embraced with open arms. And, you know, I'm just, you know, reiterating what's ever, you know, regurgitating and projecting all what is given to me on pages. So I hope that I focus more on my work and not about the story, you know, and I focus on trying to lift up others around me, you know, in these moments that are coming, and be supportive and understanding, and, you know, and just take one step at a time.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you. It's been really amazing hearing from you. I hope you do have roots in Canada. We'd like to come. We'd like to claim you.
That'd be fun. I'll have to get my ancestry checked, you know, my genealogy research, you know, and see if it goes back. I know I went through Ellis Island. I don't know if some of the family went north and some went south. So, but Charles, I do appreciate your time, and thank you for having me as your guest today. And you know, to all your fan base and your followers, and thank you for keeping us afloat and keeping us on the air.
We look forward to seeing it. Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Take care.